Hi, welcome to Critical Babe Theory. My name is Francesca, and today my guest is, full disclosure, my good friend, Sean Wilsey. I just feel like that's important. That would be like, it would be friends. Like a ruse if I just pretended you were some like anonymous.
Yeah, total deception.
Okay, but look, we have a lot of props today, which is thrilling. So Sean is a writer. This is if you're interested in reading the Dutch version. No. Is this Dutch?
That's the Dutch version.
The Dutch version.
I couldn't find the English language version.
Wait, so you literally bought the Dutch version?
No,
at
it's
store?
just sitting on my bookshelf.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, damn, don't I have a copy of my own book? And I couldn't find one. I was like, it's sort of the same cover. And I like how monumental it is. Look at that thing.
Why is it so big in Dutch?
I mean, it was big in English, and maybe
typeface might have been.
It could have been typeface. I think they have longer words. I mean, look at the title in Dutch.
Whoa.
The title in English is "Oh, the Glory of It All." In Dutch, "Oh, what."
Schitterend allemaal.
Yeah, oh, wat schitterend allemaal.
That's so cool that your work has been translated widely.
Not super widely, but like Dutchly.
Okay, and that was a memoir that was, I think it was atop the New York Times bestseller list for some time.
Yeah, it was on the list. It was on the list for like a summer.
Okay,
yeah,
fab.
Maybe longer. Yeah, that was great. It launched my career. Super helpful.
God, what a dream.
Yeah,
everybody's dream.
Here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Should we try to get it?
I got it.
You got it. That's good luck.
Already the show is killing. Wow, I caught that bug.
Bye.
Sorry.
Bye, bug. Okay, fab.
All right.
Wait, but then recently you translated Luigi Pirandello's One Nun and 100 Grand.
Yeah, which is called Uno Nessuno e Centomila in Italian, which is One Nun and 100 Grand is a little bit of a liberty with the title. That in Italian, it's one none or no one and 100,000.
Yeah.
And 100,000 just like really doesn't have a ring in English.
No.
It just doesn't make you want to read it. I think these two are kind of great together, though, because look how little. Nobel Prize, though.
He won the Nobel.
He did.
Oh.
Yeah, and he considered this like the full expression of what he was all about. And it's amazing. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like he can say a lot. You don't have to go on and on like I did. But really, it's hyper dense and very, very funny.
Okay, fab.
I mean, I laughed out loud continuously, despite the fact that I've read that book over and over again. It still makes me laugh. As you were translating? Yeah, as I was translating, as I was working out the translation. And I did an event for that book at the Italian Cultural. It'll stand up. I thought it was just going to
No, it has a lot of substance.
It's very heavy. I did an event at the Italian Cultural Institute, which is kind of one of the here we are giving you Italian culture in America kind of institute. It's part of the Italian government. And there was this academic who came, and she was just she didn't realize I was the translator. She just thought I was leading a discussion. So she was like, this translator made the book funnier than it is in Italian. And I was just like, that's not true. I was like, it's funny in Italian. And she was like, it's not that funny in Italian. But this one's funny. And I was like, look, lady. Actually, I was much more polite.
Right.
I was like, madam, I feel that your sense of humor is wanting in Italian.
Although it is quite robust in English.
And then she came up and she was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
I think that's a great backhanded compliment, don't you?
I was into it, yeah. It is very funny in Italian, though.
And people like it, the translation.
Yeah, people like it. There was a little bit of controversy.
Ooh, please, pray tell.
Well, there was a review, a quite large, I don't know if you would call it a review. It was a large piece of writing talking about the book in The Nation. Do you ever read The Nation?
No.
All right.
Is it good?
I think it's any publication sort of depends on the topic of
what's
writing.
What's their little niche?
I think they're the oldest publication in America.
Whoa.
And I think they see themselves as defenders of the idea of America from a super hard left perspective.
They have a super hard left.
Yeah, they're very hard left.
Wait, they're older than Harper's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Well,
No authority on the nation. But this guy, he wrote this large piece, and it was great that he wrote that much about it. But all he did was accuse Pirandello of being a fascist and claim that the book had never really found an audience in America because of Pirandello's fascism. And the book has a massive audience in Italy, like to the point where it's like you could compare it to The Catcher in the Rye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is like, if you want to understand Italy, this is a good book to read, and it'll change your mind about Italy because it's so not frivolous while being funny, and there's no food in the book at all.
Are you saying that most people think of Italy as being frivolous?
Yeah, I think people think of Italy as like a place to go have fun. And I think joie de vivre, sorry to use a French term, I'm talking about Italy, la dolce vita.
Right.
It's like, that's what people think.
Yeah, but like beauty has its own gravity, no?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Rome is like a ruined, ravaged, gorgeous woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Boy, do I. Rome is so hot. So sexy.
Rome is my favorite place in the world.
And that's a really interesting comparison because, like, look at Paris, beautiful city. But, like, no, I think Paris is amazing. But, like, there isn't a shred of the medieval Paris left.
Right.
So, it's just, like, it's a more, like, regulated idea of aesthetics. Whereas Rome is just, like, it's so...
chaos.
It's so disheveled.
Yes.
And, like... I don't know that I'd say ruined. It's déshabillé.
It's polluted. It's just like, it just like had some spit wiped in its face and some dirt, but it's fabulous. I remember when I was last there was
clothes are ripped.
I know, like, but not like
hanging out.
Yeah, it's just
no bra.
It's so erotic.
Yeah.
It's such a whereas like to me like Paris leaves me. It's like sparkly and pretty, but it leaves me pretty cold.
I don't get that, but I do really like Rome. And to kind of bring it back to Pirandello, I think fascism in its early incarnation in Italy was viewed by, people like Curzio Malaparte, that writer?
Yes, you're always trying to get me to read him. What's it, Caput?
Caput.
Yes.
Yeah, but he wrote a bunch of books around World War II, and he started out as a, pro-fascist journalist, and then he evolved and understood Italy was like the whole of Italy was like what we're describing Rome as being, and so it was like the whole place was just like a ruin and a mess. And I think these people who were intellectuals and supported Mussolini just wanted people to be able to survive, and saw him as somebody who was bringing order, and the race laws, the things that cross every line of conscience and humanity. Those things didn't come in until Pirandello was already dead. And it's like you can say the writing was on the wall, but you could say that about lots of things in hindsight.
Sure.
And so the nation's premise was you shouldn't even read Pirandello. Or they weren't saying that because then it was weird, and then there was a letters section conversation that was pretty robust between me and a couple of other academics and Italians and translators and the writer, and he kind of was. I didn't think he was able to defend his point at all.
It's a hard point to defend, to say to not read something on the grounds that it might pollute your thoughts.
Well, granted, he had read it. So,
I'm just saying to tell.
If he really wanted to say don't read it, he wouldn't have written anything about it at all.
Right.
So already I felt that it was a confused argument. But here we are. We're talking about canceling people.
Yeah.
And the guy won the Nobel. If you want to understand Italy, everybody has read this book. So you can walk into any circumstance in Italy and you're suddenly not talking about food, you're not talking about coffee, you're not talking about cars, and you're not talking about art. And those things are all super interesting. But it's a book about identity.
Right.
And it's the narrator has this crisis because his wife is watching him look at himself in the mirror. And she's like, "What are you looking at?" And he's like, he's playing with his nose. He's like, there's this little hint of pain when I touch my nose. And she's like, oh, okay. I thought you just wanted to tell which way you lean. He's like, what do you mean I lean? And I think it's a total metaphor anyway.
Right.
She's like, oh, you lean right.
Uh-huh.
Sounds like a metaphor to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's thrown into a total crisis that he doesn't know this about himself. And he doesn't see himself the way other people see him. and then he attempts to destroy every false image of himself in the world, and by performing lunatic acts that in the presence of people who see him one way, he behaves radically the opposite. And the results is played out to the furthest degree. It's very interior and intellectual, but it's also like really slapstick.
Right.
And then in the end, it's like sexy, violent, and really, really kind of graphic and strange. And it's
sounds fabulous.
It's a good time.
And probably what the nation wants is they just don't want anybody to have a good time.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want. They might not know it.
You've explored this notion in this venue that like fun is kind of a problem for political orthodoxies.
Sure.
I mean, I think that's like a fair summary of what I've heard you say. And I agree. Like, it's threatening. It's chaotic. Like, people don't like it. It's misbehavior.
Right.
Like, fun is almost always misbehavior.
Right.
To whatever degree one can misbehave. And those lines are those, like, thought prisons are, like, they're pretty strong right now.
They're so, I had, like, yet another argument with, like, I'm sure somebody who maybe identifies as, like, a Marxist or something. I don't know. I mean...
So dismissive. Perfect segue to this prop, actually. This guy is...
Wait, what is that?
Although he's actually becomes completely disillusioned. I think I'm going to have to say that's my favorite book I've ever read.
But you told me that the best novel that you've ever... that of the whole world was this, which I will tell you. So this
until I read this.
Okay, so if you want to ever read this, if you're looking for recommendations, this is the second best novel that Sean has ever read. It's called I Served the King of England. And how in the world do you say that name?
Bohemil Rabal.
Yeah, anyway, truly life-affirming.
Yeah, isn't it so beautiful?
In its mischief.
Yes, super mischievous. I mean, also, like, there's some weird relationships with fascism in that book. In that...
Pretty cash, I would say.
Like, not a strong condemnation, in that, like, the narrator in that book is a waiter in Prague and falls in love with, like, kind of wouldn't you say, like, just kind of a sexy and not very smart Nazi girl.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But he
just loves whores. That's really what I took away from it.
He loves sex, and he loves
decorating whores with flowers, it is the
best part.
He just like adorns them, their whole bodies with these floral arrangements. Sleeping with them. I know, it's just an aesthetic experience. Truly something I was like, gotta try.
I agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, we gotta delete this whole scene. No, but it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then anyway, he falls in love with this like Nazi woman who, is a very like. It's certainly not a. It's not an approval. It's not an endorsement of fascism by any stretch. But he's just like smitten with her to such a degree that her politics don't even register for him.
Must everyone care deeply about the political, Sean?
I mean, I don't know what I could whip out a bunch of quotes. The personal is political.
Right. But as a writer, who, in my opinion, and experienced writers have a more finely tuned sense of morality and obligation, I would just wonder what your thought is.
I've suffered beneath the lash of my own morality a lot.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And I think, like, if there's anything I regret in my life, it's sort of the decisions that I made because I thought I was doing the right thing. It's really hard to know. So this other book, in English, there's a kind of bad, not awful though, and it's like a testament to the book that even a bad translation works. Because this isn't a book like entirely that exists on the level of thought and writing.
Yeah.
It's more a book about like, how do you hold on to your identity as you lose, or how do you hold on to your soul as you lose everything that you believe in politically? So this guy is a super commie. It's not really a Marxist. he's more of a like Soviet communist.
Okay.
And he grew up Jewish, abandoned the faith, pretty young age, but like, rabbi family, so like very, shtetl, Western Ukraine, which was called Galicia at the time. Was
really?
part of the
Like in Spain? The same name?
Yeah.
Huh.
I know, figure that out. And then like, it was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Okay.
And like their like lodestar of ideas and culture was Vienna. The family ends up kind of like World War I, like displaces them. They wind up in Vienna. They are really poor, but they kind of pull it back. Dad's a banker, but he won't practice banking on the Sabbath. So like they just can't make any money.
Got it.
And then the son becomes like totally enraptured with revolution and is like all in and wants to like spread the revolution that has succeeded in Russia like throughout the world. And then, the people that, Lenin and co are basically like, Lenin dies, Stalin consolidates power. Like, he just is totally disillusioned with how people cannot hold on to their values. Yeah. And he abandons, and he was like a rabid anti-communist. And like this book, Like a Tear in the Ocean is the title in English, in the kind of mid-translation that I read. He became a publisher in Paris and was like one of the heroes of the '68 student movement in Europe and Japan. But Japan? Yeah, that never really like happened over here. We just did like hippies, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not an authority on that movement.
Sure.
But like, his ideas are so profound and they go so much deeper than politics, but they're very political. And just when you think he's really about like not allowing you to have an orthodoxy, because I think an orthodoxy is always a way to protect yourself.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I've said a lot.
No, wait. An orthodoxy is always a way to protect yourself. But you didn't really answer my question, which was...
Left it. Where is it?
Which is, because I guess, I don't know, I want to say...
this is like an Orangina is what this looks
I know,
like.
but not too terribly sweet. I don't know if it's someone named Anne Tyler. Is that an author's name that I'm remembering? There's some Anne. There's some middle-aged woman-sounding white writer who wrote a series of essays that maybe had the word bird in the title. That's about...
Bird by Bird?
Is that it? Who is that by?
Oh, dude.
That sounds right.
She was a friend of my mother's.
Yeah, it sounds like that chick.
It's about writing.
Yes, and also is part of it the idea that one is not morally obligated to be politically involved.
Sorry, I'm just having a moment of just despair that I'm forgetting her name because she was actually a friend of my mother's. So now I'm just like, wow, what a fucking betrayal. She lived on a houseboat. She might still.
I don't know that would qualify as a betrayal or a function of age.
Coming in so sure about like Anne was what? I don't think it is Anne. I think it's Annie. Sorry, that's not that
Annie.
different. Yeah.
that would really lead to my point being stronger.
Pop into my head in like 10 minutes.
Houseboats are so chic. I mean, we're both also from the Bay Area. Yeah.
Yeah, she lived in Sausalito.
But I've been thinking myself recently about what I feel. Well, I guess to take it back. So I was just did I tell you that? I was in Indianapolis doing my show, Escalation Time.
No way.
Yeah. We took it there for 2 weeks. Cool. Yeah, it was great. It was
that must have been really interesting.
It was really interesting.
Wait, I haven't seen any of this.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, man.
I know. It's so anyway.
So you were just in MAGA Central.
Yeah, I was in Red State. I was in the Heartland. I was in the Heartland, and it was great.
That's what you should be doing.
And also, guess who's a little more fun these days?
Those people.
Republicans.
Who?
Republicans.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm like invited to a dinner tomorrow with some people, and like one of the other people that I'm going with was like, you don't necessarily want to sit next to this person. I think they're pretty conservative. And I was like, fucking bring it on.
I was like, that statement that person made is indicative of the entire political problem on the left right now.
I love being around people who I don't agree with. It's so much more fun.
Well, also, if you are unable to tolerate being around people with even slightly different ideas, which is my experience on the left, if any time I digress from like the approved orthodoxy, people get like alarmed.
Yeah, you're like an apostate.
Yeah, they get dare I say, they get hysterical. Even the men, in my experience. A hysteria so strong it leaves the womb.
Even the men. I feel like there's men have an equal claim to hysteria.
Well, not historically, but I would say at this point, men on the left definitely have fought for their equality in that regard.
Well, we just like, I think a lot of those guys like don't want to cut themselves off from the female population, and they're just like gotta like. Oh. Don't you think it's a little bit of a sexual survival strategy amongst men of a certain political stripe, like where it's like you don't want to say anything that could be construed. We can't use this part of the interview.
We can't. No, this is the best part. No, I think that's absolutely accurate.
I don't even know if I believe that, but I do feel like, like none of what's happening in terms of leftist thought strikes me in its intentions or content as especially like misguided. It's like the enforcement side that I find like I don't totally love, because like how do you like get educated if you can't be wrong, right. Like and like you walk like it's like children, it's like a school where you're already supposed to know everything before the bell rings, and so like like having ideas that are stupid or misguided or like getting schooled is like fun, and like I guess what I was gonna say is that politically I grew up in San Francisco, but earlier than you. I'm like, now that I know your age, 15 years older than you, 16. And so I was born in 1970.
Well, don't just throw numbers out there, Sean. Jesus.
So you can cut this part. Yeah, you can cut this part.
No, I won't cut it at all. It's
funny, though.
No, I won't. I can face reality.
So, my mother had a salon. My parents had a salon. And the kind of people that were at the salon were feminists and people who were fighting for racial justice.
Right.
So it was like Eldridge Cleaver, Kathleen Cleaver, who were Gloria Steinem, and like this kind of thinking about equality and about like white privilege. Although I grew up in a really privileged environment,
sure,
it was like I just like came in at the beginning of my life and I never questioned it, and it seemed really right. And I ran into Kathleen Cleaver, who's Eldridge Cleaver's widow, and a writer and a thinker of real note at the New York Public Library has this like scholars like residency, and they have like these lunches, and I went to one, and I was like, hey, oh my God, I'm Pat Montandon's son. And she was like, the elegant Pat Montandon was your mother? And it was like, I just felt it was so kind of her to remember my mother in that light, because like, loads of people could be like, ugh, oh my God, the kind of, couture draped socialite Pat Montandon. And that wasn't really how my mom saw herself or how I saw her.
Right.
And it's like, I don't really love the phrase throwing people under the bus, but like it's just like really easy to throw people under whatever bus you want to keep moving. Rather than to stop and be like, should we bring them aboard? Maybe they want to come aboard. So like anyway, I just felt like she was amazing, and like I think there's probably an argument to be made that progress at that point was so narrow and the world at large was so uninterested in these ideas
in the 70s.
Yeah, that it behooved the radicals to, although I think they were way more radical than now,
sure,
to at the same time, I guess Tom Wolfe has written about this in Radical Chic, and
one of my favorite books.
Sure, right? And although I think he's such an asshole.
I don't care. He's just, you could be an asshole and a prophet or whatever. A prophet's the wrong word for him.
But, okay,
Sybil?
anyway.
What's a Sybil? Is that just a name?
I think that's the sexist version. But, I don't know, isn't it like it sounds Greek?
It sounds so Greek.
But wait, let me just finish that thought. There was like one more aspect to it. So I think the people who are carrying forward the I think very, very like important ideas about equality in the world now are just like, we don't have to compromise anymore. Like, we don't have to tolerate the other ideas, because those ideas are patently wrong. And I think I don't even disagree with that. But I also just think that, like, human beings are usually wrong, and we might as well, and if they're not willing to be their wrong selves, it's usually just because they're scared. So I kind of think, like, we'll go all the way back to the sex thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of men are scared, and
sure,
that they're not gonna get laid.
So they say. I've been talking to some true believers, I will say.
That doesn't mean that they're not true believers. Like, true belief can originate
come from
in lots of ways. Yeah, like, isn't every
interesting.
religion sort of fear-based on except for Buddhism, maybe? Or is it love-based? I don't know.
I'm not going to pick that up.
You're not going there?
I'm not going to. No. Because, wait, I had something to say. Because, yes, they may not... Well, I guess what I was thinking is, like, they don't tolerate any kind of... There's such a very narrow band of ideas that are tolerated, but also there's this very high tolerance for losing and not changing any hearts and minds. And the relationship between those two things I find pretty confounding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just feeling uncomfortable using the word they.
Who's they?
Yeah, who are they? I don't even have anybody in particular
it's the
in mind.
Hysterics on the left. People who are policing thought crimes on the internet. I would say like culturally, socially at large, primarily on the internet. That's who's they is, in my opinion. That's what I'm talking to.
Fair enough.
And I have found the hysteria, the sexually non-discriminating, gender non-discriminating hysteria that I've experienced of people on the left, when you have any slight aberration from the straight and true path. And
right. Well, I feel like these are religious ways of thinking.
I totally.
Yeah.
But without really
they're fundamentalist ways of thinking.
Fundamentalist.
Let's say that.
Yeah, that's a good. And what I will say is then being in the heart of the country.
Oh yeah, let's get back
month, there. And getting into lots of arguments,
yeah.
but really good, fun ones.
Right.
With self-described red-blooded Republicans and
Yeah.
Americans. I thought, isn't it so much more interesting when our beliefs can be like elastic and expressible, and we can trade them off one another, as opposed to just being like, oh God, if I say one thing wrong, I'm going to be outcast from the group, which is often, as somebody who, as I say on the show, somebody who's regularly woke shamed, myself, anytime I go out socially, I am to some degree woke shamed by someone. Truly, it's shocking. It's just not that.
Just like on the one train?
No. Like if I go out to dinner with people or at a party, like any sort of like social environment that's not completely controlled.
You're wearing the Scarlet Letter. Wow.
I mean, hardly, but it's just unpleasant socially. Whereas with these Republicans, who also in their beliefs are very elastic, meaning they've flopped parties. They are some of them were like, down the line.
You ever vote Republican?
I have not, no.
I did once.
Oh yeah, for whom?
I got bullied into it by my father. It was the first time I voted, so it wasn't really a pure vote.
Nah,
but I
different.
did. Yeah, I voted for George Bush 1 over Michael Dukakis. I don't think he were alive. And
I was not alive.
Yeah. Anyway, he didn't seem like a strong candidate to me.
It's just a bad name, Dukakis. You can't take that name seriously. Whoever told him he had a political future?
He didn't have one on the national stage, it turned out.
I mean, you could have told... I could have told you that from the get. Yeah.
But it was like, honestly, it was... And I feel like I've had some close friends who've crossed the aisle politically and actually voted that way. I'm usually like a down the line... Either like I often will vote for like the most out there, like super small party candidate.
Yeah.
But not in a presidential election ever, because I just think it's too dangerous to do that.
But the thing is that like I guess what I have been coming up against, and then was very much brought home to me when I was in Indianapolis was that, like, what I keep hearing from, this is now particularly an online class of leftists, so I will qualify that, is that, like, anybody who has ever voted Republican or in particular voted for Trump is evil, is a racist, is a fascist, is a XYZ. And to me, that's so clearly, obviously, a ridiculous statement. And it's not only ridiculous, because most people vote in their economic self-interest, and people thought
or hope to.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the number one issue for everybody. And people felt, people felt like Trump was going to help their pocketbook, which I'm just going to leave that. That's whatever. Yeah, everybody can feel the way they feel. And so the idea that, like, somebody who voted for Trump, it's because they're deeply evil and they want to end democracy and they really believe in fascism is just, like, it's self-evidently preposterous, but also it's ineffective, because if you're interested in winning over those voters, if you just dismiss them as evil and stupid, then it's going to be really hard to get them on your side.
Yeah, but these things are also, like, interrelated. I think everybody who feels that that way about, like, a Trump voter as basically being, like, perdition level, like, mistake maker, is convinced that we're in a moment of, like, existential, absolute, this is it, end of the world moment. I mean, really. And, like, I was talking to somebody the other day who I think I said some mildly, seemed pretty uncontroversial statement about how, well, are these the worst times in the history of humanity? I feel like when you look at what was happening not even that long ago, when it was like whole American cities were burning, there were just, like, there was serious rioting, people, it was permissible.
You mean like Rodney King?
Yeah, sure. Okay. To somehow beating somebody to death on camera, or, well, like, he didn't die, but there certainly didn't seem like they weren't trying to do that. Wasn't viewed. I mean, it was condemned, but it was just the fact that could even happen.
Right.
I feel like progress, I mean, I don't know. Now we're just wading into a crazy thicket. My point is, look at World War II and that book that I love. Like, the things that people were enduring and coming back from surviving seem way more extreme than what people, certainly in this country, are going through now. And I guess the person I said this to was like, but look at the environment. And look at, like, climate change. Yeah, just, like, what's going to happen to the planet. And it's, like, a hard argument to really counter. It does seem like they're not only not taking it seriously, but, like, actively encouraging it. Yeah. So on that level, like, how do you not say that anybody that voted for Trump is basically trying to destroy the planet? I know they don't think they are, and I don't think that they should be condemned as such, but, like, the argument is pretty clear, in my opinion. I mean, seriously, man. And, like, I like, occasionally will argue with some of my Republican, like, friends or family members, but I would rather, I guess, sweep it under the carpet and, like, find things that we enjoy talking about, but because I don't think it's possible to shame people into changing.
That's 100% true. I completely agree with that. I guess the experience that I had, I mean,
I'm not even taking that line that I just expressed either about the climate and all that, but I think that people that I don't even know how I feel about it. I feel like who the fuck knows what's going to happen in terms of, like, the climate catastrophe. Like, I guess
I think they're going to put they're going to put aerosols in the atmosphere. I would put
they being Elon Musk at this point.
I mean, I think independent nations will do it without the approval of other nations. I think the Saudis will start doing it. I think anyone who can afford it.
The people that can, like, basically put, like, reflective aerosols in the atmosphere and they shine the sun back.
Yeah. I think I don't think there's going to be some, like, worldwide agreement about it. I think people are just going to go rogue. Different nations are going to go rogue and just do it. Well, I'm going to say I'm 75% sure that's what's going to happen. And then I think we're just going to find out, baby. I guess I feel a combination of these two things, which I feel like we are on the verge of climate catastrophe. Sure. But I also don't feel that politically this time is, like, more special than others. Now, God, I was reading something which was
Sure.
talking about how the United States is actually one of the most long-functioning political, I don't know what the right word would be, like systems in the world ever. Which I was...
The Republic of Venice is probably the longest. Unless there's one that I'm not aware of. Which is a 1,000-year republic.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we took a lot of our ideas from them.
But like, so that's great, and I love that. And I see how that maybe people feel like that's coming to an end right now. I get that too. But I don't know that these times are more extreme than others. You know, one of the stories that I heard when I was in Indianapolis, because I had some long-lost family out there. And I don't know, I just feel like telling the story.
Actually.
Really?
Yeah, actually. But tell me, though.
So it turns out that my great-uncle Frank, who all I remember about him was my mom saying that he just never came back right after the war, he was at D-Day. And he was the only surviving member of the 82nd Airborne. So he they like came in on gliders.
Yeah.
And so he was like, basically had as many war decorations as you could possibly get because he was the only one that survived. But they finally took him out of service because then at another battle, they found him reassembling the bodies of his commanding officers that had been blown up because he thought he could maybe just put them back together. You know.
Oh my God.
I know.
Did he? Wow. Did he get the Medal of Honor?
Yes, he got the Medal of. He got it all, but he never got his mind back. Yeah. You know, and I just think about D-Day and I think about Hiroshima.
Hiroshima for sure.
And I don't know that today is the most intense time in the whole
Hiroshima,
world.
I think about a lot. That's actually a pretty good segue to my film if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, well, we should take a short break.
This is perfect.
Okay, so when we come back, we're going to talk about... No, here's the thing. Do you pronounce it... Is it IXXI?
Yeah.
Is that what you're calling it? Okay, so this is Sean's film, which is premiering this week at Tribeca Films. There are glancingly few tickets left, so you have to...
Yeah,
it's sold out. It's sold out across the board. But I think you can also do a... You can rush. They give that option. You can rush. So we'll put a link to that. But again, this is my dear friend and writer, Sean Wilsey, whose documentary IXXI is going to be coming out this week at Tribeca. And we will be back in a little bit. If you want to hear the second half of this conversation, please go to patreon.com/criticalbabetheory. Thank you.